Hello and welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting programs to teach you how to paint traditionally as well as digitally. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to paint a waterfall in Moonlight. The app that we're going to be using is the Android Infinite Painter, and this lesson is going to cover how to paint night sky and the stars and the moon. You can follow along using acrylic or oils, depending on your preference. So the brushes that I use are a 2-inch flat wash, a number 10 bristle brush, a number 8 filbert brush, a number 10 flat brush, a number 6 flat brush, a long script brush, and a short script brush. The canvas that I like to use is canvas board. And canvas board is just a canvas stretched over a cellulose core. Now you can also use a stretched canvas if you want to. I just prefer canvas board because it doesn't bounce as much as a stretched canvas. Now here are the colors that I like to use, and I use Grumbacher Academy acrylics, but you can also use Daler Rowney and Liquitex. Different brands have different colors, but just go ahead and compare the colors and you should be able to find all these different shades. So let's go ahead and get started with our Infinite Painter app. And if you want to use a traditional canvas, go ahead and probably get a 16 by 20 or 11 by 14. And we're going to be using it in portrait size because this is the best for a watercolor painting. I mean waterfall painting, not watercolor, although if you want to, you can also paint along in watercolor as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and just make a quick sketch, not very detailed, but just enough to locate the major elements of this painting in it. And I'm using the pencil in Infinite Painter. And you can go ahead and use a charcoal pencil or just something that makes a really light sketch on your canvas if you're following along traditionally. So I want to go ahead and start with the sky, and we're going to use the Leo brush, and also I want to go ahead and make it a pretty good size so that it will cover the sky better. And so you want to go ahead and kind of make X-shaped strokes so that this smooths out the sky. And if you're following along traditionally, go ahead and use your 2-inch flat wash brush. The colors that we want to use are ultramarine blue, dioxazine purple, hooker's green, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson. We want to throw in colors that will be dark, but we don't want a black color. A black color will make the sky look too flat. And if you really look at the sky at night, it's a deep blue, it's a deep purple, so you don't want to have a black sky. That will just make it look too flat. And then we want to go ahead and add some stars in here. And we want these stars to not be very bright. We just want little dim stars. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the inky brush and make sure that the spatter pattern is scattered really wide. And I'm going to lower the opacity because I don't want these stars to be real bright. And you want a real light yellow color. And if you're following along traditionally, what you want to do is take an old toothbrush and make a very thin mixture of yellow and white and use cadmium yellow light and just go ahead and spatter that on your canvas and hold it back a distance, quite a distance from your canvas, because we just want these stars to look real light. The next thing I want to do is do the moon, and so I've selected the circle guide tool from Infinite Painter, and the guide tool will let you change the size, it will let you change the size of the circle, or you can make it an ellipse. Of course, for the moon we want this to be perfectly round because we're going to do a full moon. So we go ahead and just paint the outer circle here. And I'll paint the inside with the Leo brush. And if you're doing this traditionally, take your number 8 filbert brush, put a little bit of light yellow paint on it, cadmium yellow light with white acrylic gesso, and press it all the way down on the canvas till the bristles splay out. And go ahead and rotate the handle of your brush. Don't move the brush on the canvas, but just rotate your handle, and this will make a perfect circle when you're painting traditionally. Now we want to go ahead and add in the craters on the moon, and you want kind of a tannish brown color, maybe burnt sienna mixed with orange, and go ahead and use your number 6 flat brush and use a dry brush technique where you just kind of lightly skim the paint on there. And for Infinite Painter, what I did is I picked the blend option, and then I went ahead and I tried to use the spray brush, and that was blending it out way too much, and I lost all of my texture here. So I decided to go ahead and make the brush a lot smaller, and to try to go ahead and take the Leo brush and go back in and add some highlights there, but I still wasn't getting the texture that I needed there. So I went ahead and I added some highlights there, and then I tried to go ahead and blend it a little bit more, and it still wasn't working. So I went ahead and smudged it some, and you can see that it's kind of doing an odd thing there. Sometimes when you try to blend, it will let the canvas underneath peep through, and so you have to go over it again. So I picked another color, a darker brown, and then I picked the Leo brush, and I went back and put it back on, and then just very lightly smudged it this time, not to get rid of all the texture, because we want it to look like there's craters on there. Okay, so this is the end of Moonlight Waterfall Part 1, and in this lesson we learned how to do the night sky and some stars and the moon. And in our next lesson, we're going to put in the pine trees, and we're going to add in the underbrush. Thanks everybody for watching, and thank you for all your support. And I'll catch you later.